There are haunted places, and then there is Eastern State Penitentiary. Abandoned, crumbling, forgotten by time. But not by them. In the decaying halls of this monstrous fortress, shadows still move, and no one knows why. What you're about to witness is disturbing. Welcome to Dead Silence. Eastern State Penitentiary was never meant to be a regular prison. Built in 1829, it pioneered a system known as the Pennsylvania system, a brutal method of solitary confinement meant to reform the soul. Inmates were locked in tiny stone cells for 23 hours a day. No contact, no sound, no light. They wore hoods when removed from their cells, so they wouldn't even see each other. The idea was simple. Silence would lead to repentance. But it didn't. What it led to was insanity. Prisoners reported hearing voices whispering through the walls. Some tore out their eyes. Others slammed their heads against the stone until they died. And some simply vanished from records as if they were never there. But the real horror didn't start until after the prison shut down in 1971. Over the decades, hundreds of investigators, tourists, and even guards have claimed to see things. Dark, humanoid shapes moving across walls where no light should fall. Tall figures darting across cell block 12, only to disappear. But it's not just visual. EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, have captured moaning, growling, and muffled screaming. One team of ghost hunters caught what sounded like chains dragging, followed by a voice whispering, "Get out." Paranormal investigators have called it the most active haunting they've ever encountered. But one video changed everything. In 2018, a group of urban explorers, who called themselves Echo Unit, snuck into the penitentiary after dark. They live-streamed part of it, but a second camera kept recording the entire night. That footage was never meant to be seen. One of the crew, Kyle, sent it anonymously to a paranormal forum. What it shows is not special effects. Inside cell block 6, at 2:47 a.m., their camera caught a shadow moving across the opposite wall, even though there was no source of light. The shadow had a head, shoulders, arms, but it wasn't human. It moved in slow jerks, almost twitching, like a puppet without strings. Moments later, their night vision camera completely glitched out, just as Kyle screamed off camera. When the feed returned, he was gone. They searched the prison. Police were called. Kyle was never found. His last words on the footage were whispered, "It's watching me from the wall." Paranormal experts believe Eastern State isn't just haunted. Some think it's a thin place, a fracture between our world and something else. What if the endless solitude, the psychological torment, the misery, what if all of it was a ritual that opened a door? Not intentionally, but inevitably. Hundreds of souls broken in one place. Despair layered over despair. Until something came through. Some believe the shadows are not ghosts, but manifestations of the suffering, alive in some twisted way. A psychic investigator once stayed overnight in cell 20. She left before midnight. Her notes simply said, "It doesn't want to be seen, but it wants to be known." Eastern State Penitentiary still stands today. A tourist attraction by day, but by night, the air shifts. The lights flicker. And if you listen closely, you'll hear movement in the shadows. And if you're brave or foolish enough to walk cell block 12 alone, just remember, some doors should never be open. Especially the ones you can't see. Some say they hear something if you slow it down. If you enjoyed this dive into dark history and the paranormal, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.